Charli Robinson, I am so excited to welcome you to an interview. I've been waiting for this moment since the start of the season because you're new to the broadcast, but you're certainly not new to our lives. We've known you for such a long time. But 7 rounds in, how are you enjoying being our newest pit lane reporter?
Yes, well, see, I'm so excited to be there this year because I've been obviously a Supercars fan since I was born. That's the way I was raised. And it's funny we mention High Five because on my first High Five album, it says, what would you be if you weren't in High Five? And I wrote a V8 supercar driver. So it's always been an aspiration of mine. I think this is the closest I'm ever going to get, though, unfortunately. I won't be behind the wheel. But my dad raised my sister and I going to Bathurst 1000 our whole lives. So we were never allowed at the top of the mountain until we reached a certain age. We were there on Hell Corner. But so for my family to see now that, I mean, I was always going to the races anyway to watch supercars. I was travelling alone up to Townsville, to Clipsal, just because it's my favourite sport. And now working there, it's like I'm an official stalker. I don't need to just stalk anyone because I've got a lanyard now that says I can be there. So it worked out well.
Yeah, does it feel like not only full circle, but that you've kind of maybe given your dad the best present ever, that you're now working in supercars?
I know, like he keeps saying he was proud of me in High Five, but I know secretly he's more proud now. It is pretty cool knowing that, mum and dad are watching at home and everything like that. But I think for me, working in TV since I was 15 anyway, but then doing something that I'm passionate about, it's probably the first time I can genuinely say I'm talking on air about things that I forget I'm working because it's genuinely what I want to ask. I don't need to go and research children's education like I did in High Five, or I'm not researching a country or a place like I do on Getaway either. This is literally, I'm so interested in these drivers and the sport and what I'm watching. It doesn't feel like a job because I'm asking questions and I'm in an environment that I'm absolutely obsessed with anyway. So it just slots right in.
And you've also gone for a hot lap with Brodie Kostecki and you've woken up above the rattle guns at the bend. You've certainly made the most of your experience so far. But what has been a highlight for you?
Pretty much it, waking up at the bend above the rattle guns. That's my favourite sound in the world. Like I've always said that, like for years and years since I was little, that is literally my favourite sound. And I remember every time I'd go to the racetrack, even as a kid, and I'd hear that, I'd be like, Dad, oh my God, we're here. Like that was just what it was.
When you're walking into a garage and you're presented with a driver that their day's just gone horribly wrong, they've had a crash, do you lean on that experience of when you've maybe gone through that with Liam and you already have an insight into the emotion and everything else that they're kind of going through?
100%. I'm embarrassed to say that I lived and breathed every time he raced as if I was out there. Like I was so obsessed. It's everything you talk about. It's everything you do. It's your world. Racing has the highest of highs. It's so amazing when you're on the podium. Again, as if I've ever been on one, but I feel like I have because I'm taking so many photos. And the lowest of lows. I think, though, when you reach supercars level, you should be at a level where you realise that what supercars is so good for our fans and for us watching at home is that we have that ability to check on our drivers when they win and when you have the bad days. You're angry. We want to see that. You're passionate. We want to see and hear all that. It's what makes our sport so raw and interesting, but it's also part of their job. And unfortunately, that is my job. So there's got to be that understanding, I think. If you can't handle disappointments, don't be involved in sport. And I think that kind of sums it up, doesn't it? And our guys they're the best of the best. They're the professionals, so they get it.
And as you mentioned before, you are a mum to 2 young girls, Kensington and Theodora. However, I'm wondering how you do it all. How do you balance not only the travel that's involved in your work, the demands of it, and then because we know how much motherhood's a full-time job as well. So what's your, I don't know, maybe you could give me some tips, but how do you manage it all?
My little one was only 6 months old when we started at Bathurst this year, so it was really hard. I was still breastfeeding and I had to leave her at home and it was really hard. Previous to this job doing Getaway, I'm used to travelling a lot. So, and then High Five, we toured 9 months of every year. So I'm kind of used to living out of a suitcase. It does get harder, but I try and see it as, I think it's healthy for parents to still do things for themselves, and motorsport and supercars is my passion. So I think if you do something you're passionate about, you might be a better parent, you might be a better mum. If you do nothing for yourself, you can lose yourself and you get really cranky as a mum and dad because all you're doing is play school. So for me, it's my escape to go and work, and I'm sure, you know, the girls when they're older will be proud of mummy for working, and I hope that I'm raising them to love this sport. We already spend a lot of time just sitting in the cars and we pretend to go vroom vrooms and things and wave the flags. So I'm raising them to love it. So soon enough, I'll have them at the track with me anyway when they're older, and we can just watch the race together, which will be cool.
Are you keen to sort of raise the voice and show women that there are a lot of different places for them in motorsport?
Yeah, of course. I look forward to the day where we have half a brood of women out there, but I'm also a believer of the best person for the job. So, you know, I'm not saying that we need to put women in just to have 50-50 split of men and women. I think the best person for the job should always get the role. So we've got to, work on that a bit. You have to be strong within yourself, and you know yourself. You don't need anybody telling you that you don't know about cars and that you don't know about motorsport because you're female. You look at people like Betty and Martine from Walkinshaw, and you know these women know their stuff. And I think coming into the industry, you just need to be strong as a woman and realise people are going to say a lot of crap about you, but that's only because they don't know you. You just have to fight the fight and just get on with it and just enjoy yourself and live for you, because the people online don't know you and they don't say that to your face most of the time. At the same time, can I just say that as much as I've had bad things said about me, I've met the nicest supercar fans at the track who have come up and, been so lovely and reassuring for me. So we have such great fans in supercars. I don't want to make that sound like just because I've had a few comments that I'm saying anything else. But yeah, I just tell women to be strong. And if you love it and you love motorsport, all power to you. Don't let anyone tell you that you don't know anything about cars.
Fantastic. Well, I cannot wait to see you at Winton. We're obviously on a break at the moment, so enjoy your time with your children, and can't wait to see you trackside.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Charlie.